Hey, welcome back to The Colonel Does the Raven, Legacy of a Master Thief. In the last episode, we needed to, we got a couple of new quests. One was to find the key for the professor's door, and the next was to find the Baroness's purse, and we were going to make our way to the saloon car. Hopefully I have the volume fixed for this episode. Apologize for the low volume in the last one.
I don't believe it. I never thought I'd ever meet you.
Pardon me, but we'd prefer...
It's all right, Miss Miller. I'd like to speak to the inspector.
Unfortunately, just a constable, Lady Westmacott. I'm reading The Vicarage in the Mirror right now, for the 5th time at least.
That's nice, Constable...
Zellner. Anton Jakob Zellner.
This is my companion, Miss Miller.
A pleasure.
So this is like Jessica Fletcher, mystery author. And I bet she's going to get involved with this case. I'm sure of it. Okay, so what is she doing here? Well, we are on a mission to find the purse, so let's ask about that first.
A passenger's purse has gone missing. I suppose you haven't seen it.
I'm sorry, Constable Zellner. As you know, I only deal with murder, not burglary.
Have you asked my boy yet? Maddie is good at finding things.
I'll go and do that now.
I don't want to talk to that little kid. Alright, what is she doing here? Let's find out what... How do you ask that politely?
May I ask what you're doing here? Are you on holiday?
Holiday? Yes, so to speak. The first and last holiday of my life.
Madam?
I've been writing since I was a little girl. It became my job, and now I've stopped. So, this must be a holiday.
You quit writing? Impossible. I have all of your books. Your Detective Partout is my favorite character.
Then I have bad news for you. I killed the old wretch off years ago.
I don't understand.
I'd rather not discuss my work, Constable.
Oh, well, fine.
Wow. And she's probably Agatha Christie, because part 2 is kind of equal to Poirot, in my opinion. So a bit of a shut-in. That's fine. Although, how does he not know that she killed off part 2 if he's his favorite character and he has all of her books? Unless there's a new one coming out. Where's she going?
Are you traveling to Istanbul, Lady Westmacott?
No, we are on our way to Venice. From there, we will take a ship to Cairo. As you may know, I have a penchant for archaeology. I fund a few excavations in Egypt. I traveled to Egypt by ship as a young woman. And now I'm doing it again as an old woman.
I see. As a writer, you must be very observant, am I right? I mean, you have to study the behavior of people around you to create the characters in your novels, don't you?
I solved the mystery of human nature a long time ago, Mr. Zellner. Since then, most people just bore me.
Really? I had the impression you were eyeing me suspiciously as I came in.
What do you want to know, Constable?
That's funny. They're having a observing match. Who observed the most about each other? I want to know about... Well, they're going to Venice, so maybe she knows the violinist.
Did you notice the blonde man with the violin case?
Apparently they do.
I certainly did. He introduced himself and tried to make a good impression. People like him are drawn to wealth and fame, like moths to a flame.
But his charms failed on you.
I know him by name. David Kreutzer. He was a drain on my friend's purse.
Do you think he has a money problem?
People like him always have a money problem. No matter how much you give them, they always spend twice as much and complain that they have far too little.
Why would he care if he has a money problem? I think he's probing a little too personally. I don't think anything is relevant to what he's trying to do here. However, interesting backstory. So let's ask about the archaeologist.
Did you notice the man who just walked into the next carriage with a cup of tea?
I did. He seemed nervous. He was waiting at the bar for the steward, and since the steward never appeared, he elected to help himself. He took 2 biscuits.
He seems pretty young, but he's already a professor at the British Museum.
Interesting. I'll have to talk to him later. Just out of courtesy, of course.
Of course. Did you notice anyone else? What about the doctor or the Baroness?
I notice that you've asked me about everyone, except for the inspector who went in the direction of the freight car a few minutes ago. Isn't that the Frenchman who made his name when he caught the raven?
I wouldn't quite say caught.
Well, shot. Why don't you ask me about him and my theory about what he's doing here?
I don't think we should discuss Inspector Legrand's investigation in public.
Legrand, right. That was his name. Will he save the day again? Or will you, Constable?
As much as I'd like to keep talking, duty calls.
You were right.
Madam?
I did observe you as you came in. You seemed so eager.
It's been a long time since I've had a chance to prove myself, madam.
And this is it? Your chance?
I do hope so.
Then grab it. Even small people can make big changes, as my friend Ronald likes to say.
I shall do my best.
Damn. I don't know if that was a backhanded compliment or not. Small people. Kind of funny, though. Alright, I'm going to pause it right here for a second because I need to clear my throat, and I don't have a mute button on this new microphone. Alrighty, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button to start the recording again. Okay, so let's observe Lady Clarissa.
An extraordinary woman. Talented, intellectual, extremely rich, and the most successful writer of all time. Yet, they say she can be difficult on occasion, and that she's rather unhappy.
Well, we've seen that. I don't think there's anything left to say to her, but...
There are thousands of things I would like to ask her, but nothing would justify neglecting my duties here on the train.
There you go. Stay focused.
Mrs. Miller made a good impression. She wanted to protect Lady Westmacott from me, a pushy admirer. Very diligent. But she does seem a little nervous and tense. I imagine she has her work cut out for her with Matt, and a difficult bus from what they say.
I was just gonna say, she's probably worrying about where the heck that little... her son is. Let's be nice.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes?
The little boy, Matt, he's your son?
Oh, yes. Has he done something?
No. I've already met him. Clever little fellow.
We always call him Professor because he's so precocious. If only someone could just drive the mischief out of him.
Kane would do that. Maybe a belt. Or a bare hand. Have you noticed anything, lady?
Did you notice anything unusual on the train?
Oh, I'm afraid not. I was totally focused on my work.
She's always got an awful lot to do, my Mary.
You have to tell me if that's not all right with you.
Good Lord, child. Knit as much as you want.
So, nothing out of the ordinary.
No, Constable.
Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, Constable.
I would make a comment about her knitting, but maybe she needs the clothes. I don't know. Okay, so what do we got here? Toothpicks.
The steward must have forgotten the toothpicks. Normally, he would offer them discreetly after dinner.
Ooh, take one. What else can we see here? We don't want to go back. Can we open? Nope, can't open the windows. Alright. Next card is... Oh, we go behind the bar. What else do we have?
Butterscotch. I've loved them since I was a child. Their only drawback, they don't play nice with false teeth. Maybe if I just suck it.
Keep it clean, keep it clean. So we took a butter, you know, maybe we could use those for that little turd. Let's look behind the bar before we go talk to Dr. Gebhardt.
I suppose the steward won't object to me having a look around in his absence. Perhaps he keeps the compartment keys in there. Locked. Where could he be?
I don't know, but he should be fired. What's this? A radio.
A shortwave radio. It's amazing how small these things have become in the last 10 years.
Probably should leave it off, but I like that music. Skizzers.
The steward probably uses the scissors on hard-to-open packages. These days, nearly everything is sealed up tight. A colleague recently told me about dry powdered soup in small bags. I couldn't believe it.
And if you get the onion one, it's really good in sour cream.
I'll leave the scissors here. If I need them, I know where to find them. The pad on which the steward writes orders, empty. Maybe he didn't use it because there's not much to do today.
This is kind of an annoying thing with this, because sometimes you might forget to look at this twice. It looks as though most of the objects that you can interact with, you can click twice and possibly
I don't need the
times.
pad, but the pencil might come in handy.
And I gotta remember not to talk over when I click on these things. Okay, so where to look at the scissors? I don't think there's anything else here. Not inventory. Okay. So let's go talk to the good doctor. Well, we don't know if he's good yet.
Ah, Mr.
Zellner.
Right. How can I help you?
So this must be the guy that's going to Italy. Sounds kind of pompous. I could ask him if he's seen anything suspicious, but he's been reading this paper. Well, maybe he's seen the conductor.
Do you know where the conductor is?
I'd like to know that myself. I told him to search for my missing suitcase in Zurich. He hasn't got back to me yet. He's probably in cahoots with the thieves and didn't bother getting back on the train. If we don't crack down on vermin like them, the rabble will rule the world one day.
Well, at the moment, we still don't know what really happened.
He is not here doing his job. That's bad enough.
He seems a little put out. Well, if he seems to have noticed all that about the conductor, maybe he's noticed something suspicious.
Tell me, did you notice anything suspicious here on the train or in Zurich?
You mean, except for the fact that my suitcase was stolen on the platform? No. Is there any reason to be concerned?
No, just routine.
Constable Zellner, please don't think I'm naive. I spotted the inspector from Interpol. Legrand is his name, if I recall correctly.
Legrand.
If you say so. At the train station in Zurich, he put a cash box into the safe, and then kept close watch as it was loaded onto the train. Don't tell me that a man at his pay grade routinely tramps across the Alps just to keep an eye on cash boxes.
A cash box? Like the ones you'd find in safe deposit boxes?
Precisely. And I believe we both have a good idea just what's inside.
Man, he is observant. Oh,
I do indeed have a theory, but what's yours?
A ruby was stolen in London. One of the legendary Eyes of the Sphinx. The second jewel, an emerald, is rumored to be in a Swiss bank vault, if I remember correctly. Both jewels were supposed to be exhibited together in Cairo for the first time in 50 years. It does make one wonder.
Indeed.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Any news about the robbery in London?
Quite something, wasn't it? It must have been professionals. The way they disabled one of the best security systems in the world. Most impressive.
People were injured.
Well, one cannot execute a robbery of that scale without collateral damage. It seems like the Raven has finally found a worthy successor. We can look forward to new and spectacular coups.
I'm afraid I won't enjoy his exploits this time around if the new Raven is so reckless.
That's your prerogative.
Damn, this guy's cold.
May I borrow your newspaper?
You can take the section with the article on the burglary. You're interested in that bit, aren't you?
You caught me out.
Here you go.
Dankeschön.
Usually it's a sports section I go for. Let's ask about the purse.
I meant to ask. The Baroness is missing her purse.
A baroness? This train is really full of the creme de la creme. The queen of crime is over there, and now a baroness as well.
Have you seen the purse?
Unfortunately, no. Do you know Lady Westmacott? You were talking to her?
Well, I'm an admirer of her work.
Like so many others. I once read in the newspaper that only Shakespeare and the Bible sell more copies than her crime novels.
I read that too.
She must be filthy rich. As a doctor, I'd have to work 1,000 years to earn that kind of money.
Auf Wiedersehen, Dr. Gebhardt.
Goodbye, Constable. It was a pleasant chat, really.
Wow, he'd be enjoying the present day. I can tell you that. Okay, well, he gave us a newspaper. Oh, we can read it.
Let's see if there's any news. Blah, 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 blah. Eye of the Sphinx. One of two priceless jewels. Extraordinary pure ruby. 2000 BC, etc., etc. Old news. And here, shocking burglary. Professional thieves surprised by museum guard Charles Langley and Constable Robert Oliver of Scotland Yard. Explosion? Not really anything new. One of the two eyes of the Sphinx, a ruby that's nearly 4,000 years old, was stolen from the British Museum. The burglar was surprised, but managed to escape with his loot without being recognized. That's the official story. But it says nothing about Legrand and the second eye.
Well, nor should it, should it? I mean, if you put that in there, they probably wanted to keep that hush-hush. Although, if he is just trying to spring a trap, I don't know.
Luna's Drops, the calming herbal liqueur for women. A glass a day. It relaxes the nerves and maintains domestic tranquility. Luna's Drops, if you don't want to bother your husband.
No comment.
A story about the upcoming Oscars and Cleopatra's chances of winning. An incredible feat. They built the largest movie set of all time in Rome. And because of the main actress's many illnesses, several changes of director, and months of delays, cost shot to over $40 million. The most expensive movie ever made. A record never to be broken.
It's been broken many times, but still, $40 million is still a lot of money these days.
John Surtees won the Formula One World Championship for the first time on Saturday. He also won the World Championship in motorcycle racing from 1956 to 1960, making him the only man in motorsports to win world championships in both motorcycle and Formula One events. Not really my cup of tea. Too loud, too fast, too much exhaust.
Wuss. Love me some Formula One. Alright, so I'm sure that at least one of these is some sort of red herring to make us think about other things. I guess we've got all we need from here for now, anyway. Not really sure what to do with that information, but let's go into the next car and see what we got. Goes back to the car we were just in.
The ladder leads up to the roof. It will be suicidal to climb up there while the train is at full speed. The wind, tunnels... No, I'll stay down here.
Where's your sense of adventure?
A box with a padlock. I suppose it contains tools for the train's crew, maybe for coupling and uncoupling the cars. At any rate, it's positioned so that it's easier to reach from the ground than from up here. Locked.
Bang, bang!
What?
Huh?
Don't move.
Matt, have you gone mad?
Oh my god.
I'll shoot. Hey, my pistol.
You'll get it back in Venice. I could have fallen under the wheels.
I thought you were a ghost.
Ghosts don't exist.
They do too. One just flew past the window.
Yes, sure. Now get moving.
Oh, man.
Smack that kid upside the head with that gun! Oh my god! Holy crap, what an idiot. I can't... wonder if we can use that.
I strongly suspect that the door is locked. No, it's open. Hello? Wow.
Don't move a muscle, you feathered fiend.
Put the gun down, Robert.
Is he striking a pose?
If I may introduce Constable Robert Oliver from the yard, and And this is the revered Constable Zellner of the Swiss police, who obviously couldn't control his curiosity.
So when we looked at the initial sequence in the first episode, basically it was the intro, and this guy looked a little shifty to me. I don't know, maybe it was just me. But if you remember, he had the security guard turn his flashlight off and knew that the Raven was coming to steal the jewel. I think he's in cahoots with the Raven. He was distracting the security guard so that the Raven could get there. And I think he actually asked the security guard where the gem was, or where the ruby was. Excuse me. And he told him where it was, and then had him turn the light off. So he basically pointed it out for the Raven to find. At least that's how I see it. I don't trust this guy. So I'm going to keep an eye on you, buddy. But let us... Obviously this was a trap, so let's ask about it.
Then I was right. You really do want to lure someone into a trap.
That's none of your business.
Perhaps that someone recently struck in London.
And how would I bait my trap then?
With an eye? An eye on its way from Zurich to Cairo?
Someone has done his homework. Well done, Constable.
Constable Robert Oliver. Is it possible that I read your name in the newspaper?
Ah, could be, sir. Could very well be.
Robert was there when the first eye of the Sphinx was stolen.
Why were you in the museum? Did you spot something from outside?
Well, sir, I noticed that a door was ajar, which was suspicious, and it was my duty to investigate, sir.
Scotland Yard gave him a commendation and assigned him to me as a liaison.
A great honor, sir.
Seems kind of convenient.
I hope you'll acknowledge that I, as a Swiss policeman, can undertake investigations in my own country.
Are we still in Switzerland?
I could be your eyes on the train as long as you're here in the freight car.
Oh, really?
There is a certain Professor Lucien on the train. He's an archaeologist from London.
And what's his story?
Well, it seems someone locked him out of his compartment.
Locked him out?
Well, yes. The door is locked and he's standing outside without a key.
Was it locked from inside?
It may have been. Do you think the locked door could be important?
Professor Lucien plays an important role in this story. Well then, Constable Zellner, be my eyes and ears on the train and see that Professor Lucien gets back into his compartment. Report back to me when you're through.
My pleasure, monsieur.
Huh, I wasn't sure how that would fit into the discussion, but I guess that makes it plausible that somebody could have gotten into his room, possibly the Raven. Who knows? But the wallet.
And then there's the Baroness. She's missing her purse.
Baroness von Trebitz? Interesting.
Indeed, sir.
But it has nothing to do with our case.
So I shouldn't concern myself with the matter.
Why not? It's your job as a policeman. But don't expect me to be particularly interested in a lost purse.
So why did it call it a wallet? So I guess it meant purse. Let's ask about the Raven's heir.
What do you know of this Raven's heir?
He tried to blow me up.
Robert, we don't know who we're dealing with yet.
In any event, the new Raven is a more dangerous man than the old one.
How do you know it's a man? It could just as easily be a woman.
Or several men.
And anyway, how do you know that it's a new Raven?
Monsieur?
Never mind.
I go attend to the door now.
Good. And, Constable Zellner,
Yes?
don't bother us unless you have something new to report.
Of course. A thief might get anxious if there's too much activity in the freight car.
Exactement. Knock twice. Then we'll know that it's you.
Understood.
I think that Constable knows more than he's letting on, because...
An investigation on behalf of Legrand that takes me one step closer. If I can convince him of my competence, I might even be able to see this case through to the end.
So in the 1960s, why would a constable be so conscious about possibly identifying the Raven's heir as possibly being a woman? It seemed very defensive to me. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I just don't like the constable, but I think that Oliver guy, I think he might know that the Raven is a woman, and that may be who it turns out to be. So I think he knows more than he's letting on. So this will be interesting to find out. Okay, so we need to go back to the saloon car, I think. And actually, this is a good place to end the episode. We're up around 30 minutes or so we will continue in the next episode. So until then, please do take care.